Welcome back. The state capture inquiry featured more damning evidence from former Bosasa COO Angelo Agrizzi today. One of Agrizzi's claims was how suspended Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions Nomgcobo Jiba allegedly received kickbacks. At the same time, Jiba and advocate Lawrence Mrwebi are facing an inquiry of their own. The Mokgoro Commission is probing their fitness to hold office. For more on this, our reporter Govan Whittles joins me from our newsroom. Govan, let's start with Jiba's attorney rubbishing claims made against his client at the state capture inquiry.
That's right, Shahan. This is an issue which arose before the inquiry into their fitness to hold office could even get underway. And of course, it emanates from the testimony by Angelo Agrizzi at the State Capture Commission. So this inquiry was mainly called to assess the fitness to hold office of Advocate Nomgcobo Jiba and Advocate Lawrence Mrwebi. But because of the testimony, there might now be a possibility that the issues which were raised by Angelo Agrizzi end up at the inquiry into their fitness to hold office. And so the morning began with the evidence leader, Advocate Nazir Bauer, saying that she had made an application to the State Capture Commission for access to the affidavit in which Mr. Agrizzi makes these allegations. Of course, there was a little bit of uncertainty around how that would happen because the testimony had not been orally heard at the State Capture Commission yet. Nevertheless, she's made this request and now she's awaiting it. But in response to that, the legal team representing Advocate Nomgcobo Jiba sought to clarify that Nomgcobo Jiba's position is that she had never received any money and that she performed her work with due diligence. But they also spoke about how the reports at the weekend, especially in the Sunday papers, making these allegations based on Angelo Agrizzi's affidavit impacts on the inquiry currently underway. Let's have a look at what they said.
Obviously, the news that a senior prosecutor has received something, a bribe, a serious allegations, and if they are glibly met, that to us is very irresponsible. We have spoken to Advocate Jiba, who is very keen to deal with this matter that arose allegedly from the Zondo Commission, because as we understand it, before the Zondo Commission, evidence has not been presented yet. It is yet to be presented. But of course, the media are different. The allegations are serious. And Ms. Advocate Jiba is going to deal with those allegations in the forum where they have been made. We see the relevance of those allegations if they should be made in the Zondo Commission and are dealt with there. But I mean, this inquiry can't close its eyes if that were to be, if that evidence were to come out in the Zondo inquiry, and we appeal that this inquiry is not influenced at all by what the media and the commentaries that are running in the media about the validity of those allegations. We accept they are serious, but we urge that the atmosphere of fairness is not compromised by these reports. When the time is right, and when Advocate Jiba has received the evidence, she's in the same position as Advocate Bauer. She has not received the affidavit making these allegations. She has met with the investigators of the Zondo Commission, but she has not received anything. She has not received a notice, so she's not in a position to give any direct response.
All right, let's actually focus on the Mokgoro Commission now, Govan. Acting NDPP Silas Ramayite explaining how the NPA operates. Tell us more.
Yeah, so Silas Ramayite, the advocate, is actually he is the longest serving prosecutor at the National Prosecuting Authority. He's 3 times acting National Director of Public Prosecutions since 2004. And this time he was brought in to lay the groundwork as to how the NPA works. So his testimony, as led by Advocate Bauer, just focused on what the NPA's prosecuting policy is and what are the established processes and accepted norms. within the NPA. So the issue which really stood out here and which was the subject of cross-examination by the advocate for Advocate Lawrence Mrwebi, that would be Advocate Mrwebi, is under which conditions could charges be withdrawn based on representations. And of course this relates back to Advocate Mrwebi's decision to withdraw those charges against Richard Mdluli at the time, and it really centered around whether, as stipulated in the NPA Act, Advocate Mrwebi had to consult with the Director of Public Prosecutions before he took the decision to withdraw those charges. So the technical bit here is that at the time when Advocate Mrwebi took the decision to withdraw those charges, the NPA's Code of Conduct had not yet contained the caveat that you had to consult with the Director of Public Prosecutions. So Advocate Mrwebi for Advocate Mrwebi put this to Silas Ramaite, and he agreed that that was just a recent amendment, and there seemed to be some common ground on that. So that was one of the main talking points that Silas Ramaite came to explain. Other than that, he just basically set out the policy and procedures so that there could be a set of common facts agreed to by both the evidence leaders as well as the legal team for Advocate Nomgcobo Jiba and Advocate Lawrence Mrwebi.
Yeah, and then Advocate Chris Jordan, the former Special Director of Public Prosecutions, then testified. He spoke of how he worked without interference.
Bear in mind that this is a person who was serving at the NPA while South Africa still had the old Transvaal in it. So that was when he first started working for the National Prosecuting Authority. And he was also the person that was there at the beginning when the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit was first set up. He was part of the pilot project in 1997. Basically, he came to speak about how the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit, which he headed, and the Directorate of Public Prosecutions interact with each other. And what he said was it was not out of the ordinary for representations that were meant to go to the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit to end up at the National Director of Public Prosecutions Office or the Director of Public Prosecutions below him. But he did state categorically that the DBP or the NDPP would never take a decision to dismiss a case or to prosecute based on representations that were meant for the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit. This is, of course, also putting a line in the sand saying that during his time there, there was never influence from the DPP's office over to his office, as is alleged during the time of Advocate Nomgcobo Jiba and Advocate Lawrence Mrwebi.
Yeah, and very quickly, tell us who we can actually expect to hear from tomorrow.
Tomorrow we'll have a representative of the Priority Crimes Litigation Unit, Mr. McAdam, and there's a possibility that we might hear from Mr. Jan Ferreira. If you could remember, he's the prosecutor in the Richard Mdluli case. He wrote a book about that afterwards as well, but that hasn't been confirmed. But tomorrow we should get some testimony definitely from the Priority Crimes Litigation Unit.